Peace, beautiful people. Welcome back. I'm so happy you're here and you came back to join me. Today we're talking about the energetics of letting go, mystical wisdom for moving forward without giving up. The mystic's guide, right? So mystic wisdom for moving forward without giving up. This is a very important topic to me because a lot of times in life, just as we experience so much disappointment, pain, hurt, trauma, whatever it may be, when our expectations are not met, we begin to build these barriers, these walls that we consider boundaries, but they're not really boundaries. They're intended to keep people out, to push them away, to prevent any person, place, or thing from accessing us again, from hurting us, right? Harming us, or to prevent us from feeling that we felt before, But in that, we're really just closing and ending relationships that don't necessarily need to be ended unless you are absolutely certain that this person, place, or thing no longer serves your highest good and you just want to continue moving on without any residual evidence of them in your life, okay? So that's understandable. But in this case, we are differentiating the difference of letting go versus moving on, right? Without giving up, okay? So I wanted to talk about the mystical foundations of letting go. Before we dive right on in, don't forget to subscribe, sprinkle a little magic into your world. Come back and join for each video and share with a friend, okay? All right. So the universal law of release, let's talk about that. So in many traditions, letting go is aligned with the natural law of release, okay? We could just look at this as a universal language, a universal understanding. Just like right now, we're in the fall season in most parts of the world, in a lot of parts of the world, right? We know that autumn causes the leaves to fall, which creates space for new leaves, for new growth. And so that universal law of release is something that we all can resonate with and that we understand, okay? That's what letting go is aligned with, just making and creating room for something fresher and new. So we're just going to start there. Just kind of begin to understand where we're going and how this lesson will develop with that foundation, okay? So we too are called to shed attachments that limit us on our spiritual journey, our journey of elevation, of ascension, of just becoming the better version of ourselves, the higher version. When we seek to grow, when we seek to manifest and call in all that's good for us, we have to be operating on that vibration and that frequency as well. We can't be operating from a dense vibration, holding on to toxicity and bad behaviors and then expect to call in something greater. All you're going to attract is that same energy or frequency that you are emitting or putting out. So in releasing, remember to even release and let go of the things that no longer serve yourself. Okay, so first of all, in all these lessons, we're always talking about us first and foremost. We're not projecting, we're not looking outside of us. We're always talking about doing the work. And then how does that affect my inner world? How does that affect who I allow in, how I allow them in, and who I allow to get close to me? Okay, but it starts with us first. In the releasing, it's not about abandoning, okay? Because I want to release something that no longer serves my highest good on my new frequency, on my new path, on my new journey of where I am at. I want something to be in an aligned match. I want it to be in alignment with me. So it doesn't mean that I am abandoning said person, place, or thing. Okay, it is just I am releasing those aspects of those that no longer are beneficial for me. They don't serve me. They're not good for me anymore in any way, in any form, shape, or matter. And that's very simple. I'm quite certain that makes sense. I don't really have to expound too much on that. What we want to get into next in regards to these mystical foundations of letting go, we talked about the universal law of release. Now let's get into the alchemy of transformation, okay? I actually have notes that I want to share because I scribe. So I write down a lot when I am studying, when I am channeling, and are downloading. And I actually had some notes that I took that talks about this topic, which is very profound to me. Okay, so I have notes. A while ago, I was doing some studying, I was doing some channeling and downloading, and what came up for me was the process of alchemizing, the alchemical process, right? So when we talk about alchemy, or we talk about the alchemical process from a physics or from a scientific standpoint, now follow me because spirituality is quantum physics, right? Physics in the unknown. So there are 7 stages, okay? In the alchemical process, it goes from the releasing, okay? The calcination, the burning of the ashes. So just like if you were to do a releasing ritual, whereas you write something down on a piece of paper that you want to release and then you burn it. That is the calcination, the burning of ashes, the releasing. Then we go through the dissolution, the separation, the conjunction, the fermentation, the distillation, and then the coagulation, which brings it all back together to harmonize it, okay? And then the solidification of that is basically what that is. All right, so that is bringing a complete unification. So it's basically like a transmuting type of energy, if we want to put it spiritually. You are taking something from a lower form and you are transmuting it into a higher form, okay? You are alchemizing energy. You are taking something from its, you are purifying something is what this is. So in the mystical view or mystical perspective of letting go, it's not about loss, but it's more so about just creating room and space for something more sacred and abundant to come in and to feel that. So when we release, there are often times when there is a void that is felt, but that void is sacred because it allows the universe to come in and fill that with something that is more an energetic match for where you are and for your goals that you have for yourself and where you want to go spiritually on your path. Okay, so that void is where manifestation and true magic begins. Magic, MagicK, the keys to your work, to your spiritual work, okay, to your manifesting. You're using the elements, their elemental nature is the word I was thinking of, in order to alchemize energy, in order to transmute. So how can this help you? When you want to transmute an energy that is no longer serving, say for example, in a relationship, think of how air may help, okay? We can use plants. They provide air, they provide purification, they provide oxygen. It's bringing more nature into the home. That would also be earth element. Can I bring that into my environment? How can I infuse that into my life in a way to where I will allow nature, the element of nature, the element of air to help me see things more differently from a holistic, universal perspective, where I can use these energies, these elements to transmute something into a higher form, okay? So just like gas, how Plants receive the sunlight and it oxidates, and then they release that, which is then beneficial for us. How we breathe in fresh air into our environment. How can you breathe that fresh air, that fresh life into your relationship if you want to transmute? Okay, so the alchemical process of that. I want you to think about it like that. Think about it as elements. Okay, if we're talking about fire, fire is significant of passion and creativity, right? It's a dynamic energy. It's action oriented. It's a very divine masculine energy. If we think about water, that's the divine feminine, that receptive, that intuitive, that healing energy, okay? How can you use fire to help you transmute energy? Does that make sense? How can you bring the element of fire into your current situation, whatever that may be, where it's helping you to alchemize or transmute something from a denser energy into a higher vibration? I hope you guys are really following me. I use fire by way of incense. You know, I love to smudge. Most of y'all that have been following me, y'all know I love smudging. I love burning my incense. I love burning my candles, but my color candles, like my colors of green, yellow, white, just the ones that don't have any scent, the tall jar glass ones, because I use those as a means of transmuting energy or to manifest or to call forth. Green for abundance, green for heart chakra, white for healing, pink for healing for heart chakra, yellow for high vibrational energy, green also again for, like I say, abundance, to call in wealth, money. So these are all ways that we can use these elements, or just for an example, okay? So when I use the fire element to transmute energy, I'm using that to release. The smoke, when it goes out into the air, it releases, it purifies, it's burning as I'm setting the intention to whatever it is that I'm dealing with to transmute into a higher form. When I take these ritual baths, when I'm using the water of element, I'm purifying my spirit, my body, as I'm cleansing my higher self. It's very relaxing to me. It's very healing to my spirit. It's good for my skin. Does that make sense? So we're taking these elements and we're infusing them into our everyday lives as we are allowing ourselves to transmute energy in a universal way, using the elements of the universe that are already available to us and incorporating them into our lives in practical ways, okay? In very practical ways, all right? So when we're talking about letting go and when we're thinking about it of this way, we're not turning our back. We're not throwing people or places or things away because it's like, you're no longer good. We're just going to throw you in the trash can. No, we're going to make better use of them. We're going to allow the process of alchemy and transmutation to take it into, or to bring it into, to call it forth, to channel the energy into something of a higher form that is more beneficial for our purposes, for our life, for our spiritual journeys, okay? For our transformation, because that's ultimately what this is. What are we transforming? And if we don't have the power to alchemize or to transmute energy, then what are we really controlling in our own lives? Because you know you can't control nothing outside of you. Okay, but you can control your reaction. You can't control how you handle yourself, and you can't control your own power, your own magic. Okay, I wanted to now just talk about mystical practices for letting go, rituals of release. We discussed that with using the elements. You can use moon phases, as the lunar cycles. The new moon calls in new energy. The full moon calls in energy that is complete, that is done. So you can work with the lunar cycles to bring in new energy and to finalize energy that you want to allow to be renewed, okay? Definitely you can use crystals for high vibrational energies, clear quartz, any crystal that resonates with you to call in a frequency. This is a good frequency for healing, cleansing. It's crown chakra energy. Okay. Black is also a very powerful because it's protection. It is healing. It is grounding. You want a protection energy around you at all times anyway, because that is part of protecting yourself, your energetic self, from outside energies to penetrate, okay? And in that, we want to talk about energetic boundaries. When you let go of things energetically, it disconnects you from those energetic attachments. So just for example, like soul ties, okay? People, we create soul ties with people in many different ways. And a lot of times those soul ties are really hard to get rid of. And those are energetic bonds that we have created. And so to break those, we have to create energetic boundaries in order for those bonds to be released and then transmuted into like a higher form in order for them to be alchemized, right? So energetic boundaries is saying, I'm not available for this, or this doesn't, match what level I'm on right now spiritually. I need this time to focus on me. I can't do that right now. Okay, no is a complete sentence. You don't have to commit yourself to something that you're not aligned to, or that your energetic self doesn't feel is a match for what it is that you are wanting to attract, manifest, call it, and for where you are headed. Okay, because that is all about alignment, staying aligned. Energetic boundaries are very important to have spiritual clarity. Okay, a lot of the times we have residual energies that hang around us, and it calls for resentment and things of that nature, which is also the part of what we feel wants us to throw away people, places, and things. Because it's like, you know what, I'm tired of you. I'm tired of dealing with it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want it around me. But the boundaries is what's going to help us to get. I just saw 555 here. That may be very significant of change. But the boundaries is what is going to help you get through that. So you can release, you can let go, and you can move forward. But that doesn't mean you have to give up, okay? You don't have to give up on the whole person, for an example. It is a behavior, that is no longer serving. It is a habit. It is something that was always done a certain way. It is past patterns that are no longer serving. It is not the person itself. But if it is the person itself, then you say, okay, then it's time for us to separate and go our separate ways, because you are no longer serving of me and where I'm going and where I'm at in my life. I learned a powerful lesson myself, and that is why I'm talking about this, because I had a person in my life that's very special to me, and has been there for a very long time. And we've shared so much growth, so much learning, but there's also been like some pain and some hurt and some trauma there. But because of that trauma and the pain and the hurt and whatever else occurred that brings back bad memories or resentments, until you heal from that, then you feel as if I just throw away the person and just walk away completely from you, right? Just rid myself of you and just totally give up on you, then I don't have to worry about it. But the reality is those things are still a part of you unless you do the actual work yourself. So in doing the work, you realize that you are healing, you are arising above those things. So then you don't start to look at the person like they are actually what they've done. We all grow. No one is perfect. And again, I'm not making excuses for anyone who has, made you feel that you need to leave them completely out of your life. But if there's a situation whereas you can understand that these are patterns and behaviors that no longer serve, and they didn't even serve then, but that is how we were programmed to operate for whatever reason from past baggage that we carried in, into the connection or into the relationship that is not healthy. They're toxic behaviors, right? And so if we can remember and be mindful that as long as we're not operating in that dense energy, then there is sacred healing. There's room for sacred growth. There is room for there to be some health there, some healthy connections and communication and love and nurturing and reciprocity that is no longer, suited or fitted or tailored around the past mess and all the garbage and the gunk that was there. So, I made a promise, me and my friend would say, we're not going to speak negative, ill, mean, low vibe, unkind, or any way to each other, because in that, those words have power. That air energy enters into the earth, into the environment, into the universe, and it creates something. Our words are very powerful. So in us making that agreement to let go and to release the words that we were using to create and manifest something into our lives that was no longer serving, we understand that it's not the person that we're releasing, but it's the habits, and it is what we were doing and how we were treating each other and how we were speaking to each other that no longer serves. So in releasing and letting that go, we're creating more room for healing. And that's why it's called the sacred void. That void that needs to be filled after releasing is now being filled with something healthier, something now renewed, okay? Something now more in tune and aligned. This topic is, how can I put it? It's something that I feel takes a lot of practice, because it's easy to talk about releasing and letting go without it being connected to giving up on something or someone, right? I think we're kind of programmed to do that. And a lot of the times we end up with just throwing away a lot of things that we didn't necessarily have to throw away. Just like how people will take old furniture and refurbish it and make it new again. That's just an example. Like the furniture, the piece of furniture maybe didn't need to get thrown away. It's vintage. Like refurbish it, make it new again, renew it, give it new life, bring new life into it. And now it has a whole new meaning. It has a whole new energy, right? It has a whole new vibe, right? It brings something new into the picture. So that's why when I say a person, place, or a thing, whether it's something or someone, a lot of the times you don't have to just throw it away. You can allow it to be renewed. You can transmute the energy of it. And if you don't have the power to do it, nor the strength or the ability or the want to do it, then so be it. If you don't have the power, the strength, the spiritual wit, then that's something that you may want to work on. If you just don't want to, then, everything is not for everybody, but we're talking about building and becoming better manifestors and healers of ourselves, first and foremost, and then allowing that to propel out into the universe, but especially with those around us, first and foremost, right? Our loved ones, people that are in our lives that we deal with on an everyday basis, okay? So I really, really hope that this message serves you all well. I hope I was able to speak it into fruition the way that I really wanted you guys to grasp it, okay? So remember, and I call it the mystic's point of view because the mystic it believes into the absolution, right? We believe into the absolution of the unknown, the unseen. That's the quantum, right? The spiritual aspect of all things are available to me. I may not can see it, I may not can touch it, but it is available. It is there for me to experience it, to manifest it, to call it in. I know that there is a God in me. I am a goddess, so I can access that God energy. Ashe, it's not outside of me. Ashe, it is within me. And I can use that energy to call in, to transmute, to alchemize, to manifest, to heal, right? My inner life, my inner world, my inner matrix, right? Myself first and foremost, and then those around me, and then therefore the universe, the collective, right? Not everyone has a vision to be a forerunner in healing and all these things like that, but you definitely want to heal yourself. And then when you heal yourself, that light is going to naturally shine. I think making, the world that we live in really more livable for us is the goal, because we are the ones who truly have the power. You're not looking outside of yourself for the next president to make your world a better world. Politically, okay, but it's really about how you show up for yourself, and it is about the world that you create, the universe that you're creating for yourself, first and foremost. Okay, and I'm gonna leave it there with much love, light, peace, and healing energy. If you need me, anything that you need me for a healing service, you got a question, hit me up. That information is below. Don't forget the 90-day manifestation journey that will be released before Christmas. It'll be a great way to offer yourself a gift or to give someone else. That's what we're practicing now. These are all tools that you will be working on with actionable exercises during that journey. And I'm just giving you a taste of it now. The journey itself is going to be very dynamic, very transformative, and it's going to help you and heal you, but in very gentle ways, okay? Everything that we're doing now is just literally preparing you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically for that. Visit that link, my bio site, Mystic Priestess, and you can sign up to be informed of the release date and get any updates on that. Okay, as well, I do also have my mini ebook, From Awakening to Ascension, because that's what we're all doing right now as well. Give you a little tools on what ascension is, how to recognize when you're experiencing one, and how to help yourself through that process. Okay, I love you all. Until next time, peace.